or the working people were making too much money. We now know a big part of that reason for inflation was the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, broken supply chains, and excess profits, all hitting pocketbooks hard while padding corporate profits. By the way, I'm not against corporations. I come from the corporate capital of the world, Delaware. Well, seriously, more corporations incorporated in my state than every other state in the union
ever seen. This works hand in hand with the Inflation Reduction Act to really boost American innovation, competitiveness, and security. So we've clearly given the Department of Energy a lot of work to do. Congress has spoken clearly over the last 2 years. Between the Energy Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act,
it looks like economists have released a big warning to Americans. The recession is pushing more people, including families and retirees, into poverty. And now Kevin McCarthy has announced that he doesn't even support the new bill that Democrats have proposed because President Biden may take executive action this time. A group of conservatives in the House are pushing for a vote on a bill that would eliminate the Fed, income taxes, and the IRS. But some influential Republicans are pushing back against what appears to be a failure for the GOP. The bill known as the Fair Tax Act would actually scrap all individual and corporate income taxes while imposing a 30% national sales tax on goods and services to be collected at the state level. And it would eliminate the need for the IRS, everybody, so this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you see it. But I personally believe it would be a good thing because in the deal with Kevin McCarthy for his House leadership, the conservatives reportedly want a commitment to bring the tax bill to the floor for a vote. However, the bill has virtually no chance of becoming law, and meanwhile provided Joe Biden and Democrats with new ammunition in their effort to paint Republicans as extremists. Chuck Schumer said that the Republican tax plan will raise the cost of buying a house to $125,000. Also, it would raise the cost of buying a car by $10,000. It would raise the average grocery bill by $3,500. And at a time when people are already worried about the high price of groceries, it looks like things are going bad. Schumer failed to note that the bill would also eliminate income and other taxes, but his remarks highlight the difficulty Republicans face if they push ahead with the bill. Analysis of similar tax plans show that a national sales tax would be aggressive, raising taxes on the poor, reducing taxes on the rich, and other things like that. But several Republican leaders have already come out against the bill. Even McCarthy said that he earlier doesn't even oppose it. It would allow that it will come up for consideration. It makes the committee process more difficult. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise has also said he doesn't support the bill, preferring instead to make the tax cuts included in the tax law of 2017 permanent. And one representative, a relatively moderate Republican from Nebraska, told reporters that he is also opposed to the bill. More than a dozen states are continuing to send out checks to millions of people, hoping to provide some extra relief in cash to consumers, as inflation drives up prices on everyday items. Many states are able to send these checks because of excess revenue. Many of the payments are officially called tax rebate checks. Last fall, California began issuing the middle-class tax refund, one-time payments designed to ease the bite of inflation. And as of January, more than 16 million direct deposits and debit cards were issued. But as many as 1 million people, eligible residents, have yet to receive the check, which can be as much as $1,000. And now California taxpayers filed individually and make less than $250,000 are eligible. As were the couples who filed jointly and make $500,000 or less. Because according to the Franchise Tax Board, that works out to be about 20. Now they're getting ready to pass it, and the lawmakers in the House are ready to move to vote on a stopgap spending bill and to prevent a government shutdown. But states have been actually talking about tax cutting sprees. And now, a proposed Pennsylvania tax break could result in big tax cuts. If the tax breaks happen, this will not be good. It's fueled by surging revenues. States have been slashing taxes for individuals and businesses for the past 3 years. But tax cuts are expected to come to an end in some states in the fiscal year. Some 25 states have cut individual income tax rates since 2021. And the lawmakers in many states have been approving tax cuts, aiming to help residents financially. New property and rent relief rebate checks are going to be sent out, and these payments are worth billions of dollars, and will equal hundreds of dollars for many people. Fueled by surging revenue, states have been slashing taxes for individuals and businesses for the past 3 years. But tax cuts are expected to come to an end in some states in the fiscal year. Some 25 states have cut individual income tax rates since 2021. It includes 22 states that reduced their top marginal rates. In 2023 alone, at least 8 states approved rate reductions. And Arkansas is trimming its top individual income tax rate to 4.7% after reducing it from 5.5%. Aside from individual income tax cuts, states have proposed rebate checks for their residents. Last year, 17 states issued inflation relief payments as well. And now, if you're a Massachusetts resident, income tax refunds were available to you if you paid personal income taxes and filed your return by October 17. If you file your state return by October 17, you should be able to get your stimulus check back. Nearly $100 million in rebates will be sent out to residents across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Starting today, over 4 million older homeowners, renters, and people with disabilities will be issued rebates on rent and property taxes paid in 2022. According to a release, the rebates will be allocated to eligible Pennsylvanians who submitted an application through the property tax and rent rebate program. Applicants who submit their bank account information on the application forms will receive the rebate through direct deposit. And those who request a paper check to be mailed should expect to receive the payment in the mail too. But after the initial distribution of rebates in early July, rebates will be distributed as claims are received and processed. Recently, a Pennsylvania governor called for a major expansion for the relief program, which provided a lifeline for Pennsylvania renters and homeowners. Under his proposal, the maximum standard rebate would increase from $650 to $1,000, while the income limit for renters and homeowners would be made equal and both increased to $45,000. But these income limits would also be tied to the cost of living moving forward, which means people who receive a rebate won't have to worry about losing their eligibility through no fault of their own. Ultimately, the proposal would result in nearly 175,000 additional Pennsylvanians qualifying for a rent rebate. Hoping to attract new residents, the governor has also proposed new tax breaks, and according to recent data, Pennsylvania experienced a notable population decline between 2 years. Some people may consider Pennsylvania to be a high-tax state due to generally higher property taxes and high gas taxes as well. But the governor's announcement related to one of the state's proposals would actually be offering an annual $2,500 tax credits to new nurses, police officers, and teachers. It is including those who moved to Pennsylvania with a state-recognized credential. If passed, the tax break for teachers, police, and officers and nurses will provide a refundable tax credit of up to $2,500, and some of these are for annual workers. So 5 million people. The IRA is also ushering a pair of tax benefits for Americans, also new filing this season. The expiration of a homeowner deduction, potential double taxation for some remote workers, and the deadline for federal returns is here. One intended change that would have likely led to confusion was dumped late last year before it took effect. Taxpayers should avoid feeling overwhelmed by the changes by focusing on only those that affect their returns and have the rest of the tax pros. The last 2 years included temporary changes to the tax code as a response to the crisis and economic havoc in 2022 tax year. So, looks like we can see some things happening this year. Some progress can be made, folks.
200 votes, only because my sister managed my campaign and the reason I won. But all kidding aside, I was down here in Washington in Teddy Kennedy's office. He was the whip at the time. On December 18th, hiring folks, and I got a phone call saying my wife and daughter had just been killed, and my 2 boys were very badly injured. They were in the car, a tractor trailer, hit broadside of them. And I didn't want to come to the United States Senate. I really didn't. I had my brother and my sister, and Chris knows them both well. I asked them to talked to the incoming governor. We elected a Democratic governor as well. But we hadn't had what was referred to as a progressive senator in Delaware for a while because it was a very conservative. It was used to be a red state. We didn't call it that then. But a group of senators who were really so good to me, saved my sanity, starting with Mike Mansfield and Tom Eagleton and the distinguished senator from South Carolina, Fritz Hollings, and Tom Eagleton. And they all said, come and just stay 6 months. At the time, I thought they said, you have to help us organize. We had 58 Democratic senators. That's how smart I was. But the point was that I started commuting every day, 260 miles a day on the train to go home with my kids. And that's because I was really, really lucky. I had a sister who's my best friend and a brother who's my buddy, 5 years younger. And they gave up where they lived and moved into where I was, helped me raise my kids. And every morning I dropped my kids off when they were little at my mom's house, not far from ours. And I thought to myself, I was able to continue to work and continue to.
Payments will range from $200 to about $1,000. It is very simple to figure out how much money you're going to get by using the state's payment calculator.
Some 800,000 stimulus checks are being mailed today to qualifying California residents. Maybe you're one of them. The Golden State 2 stimulus payments started going out last week. The state says some $563 million in relief checks will be mailed by December 17th. The checks total anywhere from $600 to $1,100. Another 3,000 payments will be direct deposits. This money comes.
So big news for Social Security and SI and SSDI, as well as VA beneficiaries in 50 states across the country. Every state in the country can receive stimulus checks very soon. Two factors decide this, and it goes for retirees who rely on Social Security benefits for income. So the size of Medicare Part B premiums and taxes on benefits may offset just how much bigger these monthly checks will be in 2023. The good news is that the standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B, which covers outpatient and medical coverage, is set to go down by 3% next year to $164 from the current rate of $170. Because those premiums are typically deducted directly from benefit checks, a lower rate will bump it possible for more beneficiaries to see the bump from the COLA, or cost of living adjustment. However, the higher COLA could prompt some beneficiaries to get bumped into a higher tax bracket. Economists say that the record high COLA is great for retirees as they grapple with higher food prices on everything from rent to food to gas. One economist told CNBC that while they're excited to see the increase coming, they're not really envisioning what the impact can be from a tax standpoint. Social Security benefits are also taxed on a formula known as combined or provisional income. It's calculated by taking your adjusted gross income and adding that non-taxable interest and half your Social Security benefits on it. Taxes on Social Security benefits apply to single taxpayers starting with $25,000 and go up to $32,000 for married couples. And for individuals more than $34,000 with